What if I told you the Kennedy half-dollar in your pocket could be worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars today? Most Americans have seen this coin, but almost no one realizes just how valuable certain Kennedy half-dollars have quietly become over the years. In this video, I'm revealing the most valuable Kennedy half-dollar coins, the rare details collectors are desperately searching for, and why some of these coins are selling for serious money right now. You'll want to stay until the end, because one specific Kennedy half-dollar surprises even long-time collectors, and it could change how you look at your own coins forever. If you care about rare U.S. coins, hidden coin values, and real money secrets, subscribe to Coins Most Valuable, like this video, and watch closely. Because the Kennedy half-dollar you ignore today could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Coin number 1. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark is a coin that many Americans have handled without a second thought. Yet it represents one of the most misunderstood and underestimated coins in modern U.S. numismatic history. Issued during a time of economic uncertainty, rising inflation, and changing attitudes toward American coinage, this Kennedy half-dollar quietly entered circulation and slowly disappeared from everyday use. Today, collectors across the United States are paying close attention to the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark because of its hidden value, collector demand, and the surprising way this coin has performed over time. The Kennedy half-dollar itself carries deep emotional and historical significance for Americans. Created to honor President John F. Kennedy, the coin quickly became a symbol of national remembrance. By 1974, the coin was no longer made of silver for general circulation, which caused many people to dismiss later issues as unimportant. This assumption is exactly why the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark remained overlooked for so long. Yet history has shown that overlooked coins often become some of the most valuable when collectors finally recognize their importance. The no mint mark on the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar indicates that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During this era, Philadelphia coins typically did not carry mint marks, leading many Americans to believe these coins are common and worth only face value. In reality, the lack of a mint mark does not automatically mean low value. For the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark, value depends heavily on condition, strike quality, surface preservation, and collector competition. These factors have transformed select examples into highly sought-after coins. Condition plays a massive role in the value of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark. Most of these coins entered circulation at a time when half-dollars were already falling out of everyday use. Many were stored loosely in bags, bankrolls, or drawers, where they picked up contact marks, scratches, and dull surfaces. Finding a sharply struck, clean, and well-preserved example today is far more difficult than most people realize. This extreme condition sensitivity is one of the main reasons why prices rise so dramatically for premium examples. Strike quality is another critical factor that drives the value of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint in 1974 often show weak details, especially in Kennedy's hair and the finer design elements. Coins with full detail, strong definition, and balanced surfaces stand out immediately to collectors. These strong strikes are far scarcer than average examples, and collectors are willing to pay substantial premiums for them. Two coins from the same year can look similar to the untrained eye, yet one can be worth many times more due to subtle differences. Eye appeal also has a powerful influence on the desirability of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark. Coins with bright surfaces, minimal marks, and attractive luster consistently outperform dull or heavily marked examples. Collectors often compete aggressively for coins that simply look better, even when differences seem minor. This visual quality adds another layer of scarcity, further reducing the number of truly high-end examples available on the market. Another reason this coin is valuable lies in changing circulation habits. By the mid-1970s, Americans were no longer using half-dollars in daily transactions. As a result, many 1974 Kennedy half-dollars with no mint mark were saved rather than spent. Over time, these coins became scattered across private collections, estates, and forgotten holdings. While this might sound like abundance, it actually reduces availability, because many of these coins never re-enter the market. When demand increases, supply remains tight. Era collectors also contribute to the rising interest in the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark. Some examples display unusual striking characteristics, surface anomalies, or double design elements. When these features appear on coins that are already well preserved, demand increases sharply. Era coins often bring together multiple collector communities, which creates competition and drives prices higher. The Kennedy half-dollar series is also one of the most actively collected modern U.S. coin series. Many collectors aim to build complete sets or focus on standout years. The 1974 no mint mark issue holds a unique position because it sits in a transitional period for U.S. coinage. This historical placement makes it especially attractive to collectors who value coins that represent broader changes in American monetary history. Registry-style collecting has pushed demand even further. Advanced collectors compete to assemble the finest known examples, and they require coins with exceptional quality. When a top-tier 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark becomes available, bidding can escalate quickly. These competitive environments explain why prices can reach levels that surprise even experienced collectors. The coin's value is not theoretical. It is proven in real market behavior. Market trends show that Kennedy half-dollars consistently maintain strong collector interest. They appeal not only to numismatists, but also to Americans who remember seeing these coins in circulation. That emotional connection, combined with limited top-quality examples, creates a powerful demand cycle. As more people learn about the value of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark, competition continues to increase. Another important aspect is long-term scarcity. While millions were minted, very few survive in the condition required for top collector status. Each year, more coins are removed from the market and placed into long-term collections. This slow reduction in available supply supports price stability and growth. For collectors, this makes the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark not just a historical artifact, but a strategic acquisition. Collectors who specialize in U.S. half-dollars often emphasize that value growth tends to favor coins that were ignored in their own time. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark fits this pattern perfectly. It circulated quietly, avoided attention, and slowly built collector demand over decades. Now it stands as a reminder that value is often hidden in plain sight. Here is the moment that truly changes how most people view this coin. The highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark reached an astonishing $375,000, proving beyond any doubt that this coin can be extremely valuable under the right conditions. This is why the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark deserves serious attention. It is not just a piece of everyday change. It is a coin with history, demand, scarcity in top condition, and proven market performance. Whether you are a collector, an investor, or someone checking old coins at home, this Kennedy half-dollar represents hidden potential. Many Americans have overlooked it for decades, but today it stands as one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in the modern Kennedy half-dollar series. Coin number 2. The 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with P mint mark is one of those U.S. coins that appears ordinary at first glance, yet holds far more importance and value than most Americans realize. Issued during a period when half-dollars were barely used in everyday commerce, this coin quietly entered circulation and was quickly set aside, forgotten or overlooked. Today, collectors across the United States are paying closer attention to the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with P mint mark because of its growing demand, limited availability in high condition, and its proven ability to command serious money in the collector market. By 1981, the Kennedy half-dollar had already become more of a collector coin than a circulating coin. Americans were no longer using half-dollars regularly, which caused many of these coins to be stored rather than spent. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P mint mark, produced Kennedy half-dollars primarily for collectors and limited circulation needs. This shift in usage plays a major role in why the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with P Mintmark is considered valuable today. Coins that were not heavily circulated often survived, but true high-quality examples remain surprisingly scarce. The Kennedy half-dollar series carries lasting historical and emotional significance in the United States. Honoring President John F. Kennedy, the coin has remained one of the most recognizable designs in American coinage. By the early 1980s, interest in Kennedy half-dollars had shifted from everyday use to long-term collecting. The 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with P Mintmark sits firmly in this transitional era, making it especially appealing to collectors who value coins tied to important changes in U.S. monetary habits. Condition sensitivity is one of the most important factors influencing the value of the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with P Mintmark. While many examples were saved, most were not stored properly. Coins placed in rolls, bags, or drawers often developed contact marks, dull surfaces, or minor damage. As a result, finding a sharply struck, clean, and well-preserved 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with P Mintmark is far more difficult than most people expect. Coins that survive in exceptional condition stand out immediately and command strong premiums. Strike quality also plays a critical role in determining value. The Philadelphia Mint produced Kennedy half-dollars in 1981 with varying levels of detail. Weak strikes are common, especially in Kennedy's hair and facial features. Coins that display strong detail, crisp lettering, and balanced surfaces are much scarcer. Collectors place a premium on these well-struck examples, which helps explain why values can rise dramatically for select coins from this year. Appeal further separates average coins from valuable ones. The 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with P Mintmark that shows bright luster, minimal marks, and attractive surfaces consistently attracts more attention from collectors. Even subtle differences in appearance can result in large price gaps. This focus on visual quality creates another layer of scarcity, because only a small percentage of surviving coins meet the standards demanded by advanced collectors. Another reason the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with P Mintmark is valuable is its role in set building. Many collectors pursue complete Kennedy half-dollar sets, and later-date issues like 1981 are often harder to find in top condition than earlier coins. This drives steady demand, especially as more collectors enter the market and compete for limited high-quality examples. The coin's importance within the series ensures ongoing interest year after year. Registry-style collecting has also pushed demand higher. Advanced collectors compete to own the finest known examples, and they are willing to pay substantial prices to secure top-ranking coins. When a premium 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with P Mintmark becomes available, competition can be intense. These bidding wars are not driven by speculation, but by long-term collector goals, which gives the coin strong market stability. The reduced circulation of half-dollars during the early 1980s also contributes to the coin's appeal. Because fewer people used these coins daily, fewer were exposed to wear, but fewer were also widely distributed. This creates a unique balance of limited availability and concentrated demand. As more collectors recognize the importance of the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with P Mintmark, the available supply continues to tighten. Market trends show that Kennedy half-dollars remain one of the most consistently collected modern U.S. coin series. They appeal to collectors of all ages, from those who remember seeing them decades ago to newer collectors discovering their value today. The 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with P Mintmark benefits directly from this broad appeal, which supports long-term value growth. Another key factor is long-term scarcity at the highest levels. While many examples exist, only a small fraction qualify as truly premium coins. Each year, more of these top examples are absorbed into permanent collections, reducing availability even further. This slow removal from the open market helps explain why prices continue to rise for standout examples. Collectors often note that some of the most valuable modern U.S. coins are those that were ignored at the time of issue. The 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with P Mintmark fits this pattern perfectly. It was produced quietly, used minimally, and overlooked by the general public. Over time, collector awareness grew, transforming it into a coin of serious interest and value. Now comes the detail that completely changes how most people view this coin. The highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with Mintmark reached an impressive $140,000, proving that this coin can be extremely valuable when the right combination of condition, strike, and demand comes together. This is why the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar with Mintmark deserves careful attention. It is not just another modern U.S. coin. It represents history, collector competition, and real market performance. Whether you are searching through old collections, bankrolls, or inherited coins, this Kennedy half-dollar could hold far more value than you expect. Many Americans have overlooked it for decades, but today it stands as one of the most fascinating and valuable modern Kennedy half-dollars to know about. Coin number 3. The 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with Mintmark is one of those U.S. coins that most Americans overlook without ever realizing how important and valuable it can be. Issued during a time when half-dollars were no longer part of daily spending, this coin quietly entered circulation and was quickly set aside, stored, or forgotten. Today, collectors across the United States are paying serious attention to the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with Mintmark because of its condition rarity, collector demand, and surprising auction history that proves this coin is far more than ordinary pocket change. By the mid-1980s, the Kennedy half-dollar had already transitioned away from everyday circulation. Most Americans simply did not use half-dollars anymore, which meant coins like the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with Mintmark were often saved rather than spent. The Denver Mint produced these coins during a period when demand for half-dollars was limited, and that unusual production environment plays a major role in why this coin has become valuable today. Fewer people paid attention to these coins at the time, which allowed hidden scarcity to develop over the years. The Kennedy half-dollar remains one of the most iconic coins in American history. Created in honor of President John F. Kennedy, it carries emotional and historical weight that few modern U.S. coins can match. The 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with Mintmark sits deep into the modern era of the series, a time when collectors began to dominate demand instead of everyday users. This shift transformed later-date Kennedy half-dollars into condition-sensitive collectibles rather than common, circulating coins. Condition sensitivity is one of the biggest reasons the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with Mintmark is valuable. While many examples were produced, most were not preserved carefully. Coins were stored in rolls, bags, or drawers where they picked up contact marks, dull surfaces, and small imperfections. Truly well-preserved examples with clean fields, sharp details, and attractive surfaces are far scarcer than most people expect. This scarcity at higher levels is what drives strong premiums in the collector market. Strike quality also plays a crucial role in determining the value of the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with Mintmark. Denver Mint strikes from this era can vary widely. Many coins show weak details, especially in Kennedy's hair and facial features. Coins with strong, full strikes immediately stand out to collectors. When sharp detail combines with clean surfaces, demand increases dramatically. This is why two coins from the same year and mint can have completely different values. Eye appeal further separates average coins from valuable ones. Collectors consistently favor the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with Mintmark that displays bright luster, balanced toning, and minimal distractions. Even small differences in appearance can result in significant price gaps. Visual quality creates another layer of rarity, because only a small percentage of surviving coins meet the standards demanded by serious collectors. Another reason this coin is valuable is its importance in complete Kennedy half-dollar sets. Many collectors pursue full date and mint collections, and later-date coins like 1984 are often more difficult to find in top condition than earlier issues. As more collectors enter the market, competition for premium examples increases. This steady demand ensures that the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with Mintmark continues to gain attention year after year. Registry-style collecting has had a major impact on prices. Advanced collectors compete to assemble the finest known sets, and they require coins that rank at the very top. When a high-end 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with D Mintmark becomes available, bidding can escalate quickly. These collectors are not guessing. They are responding to proven scarcity and long-term demand. This competitive environment explains why prices can rise to levels that surprise even experienced numismatists. Another factor influencing value is how half-dollars were distributed during the 1980s. Because demand was low, fewer coins entered wide circulation. Many were held back, saved, or absorbed into private collections early on. Over time, this reduced the number of top-quality examples available to the open market. As awareness grows, supply tightens, which supports long-term value growth for the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with D Mintmark. Market trends consistently show that Kennedy half-dollars maintain strong collector interest. They appeal to Americans who remember them, collectors who study them, and investors who recognize their stability. The 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with D Mintmark benefits from this broad appeal, which helps protect its value and supports continued demand even during changing market conditions. Long-term scarcity at the highest quality levels is one of the most important elements driving value. While many coins exist, very few qualify as premium examples. Each year, more of these top coins are locked into permanent collections, reducing availability even further. This slow and steady removal from the market helps explain why prices continue to rise for standout examples. Collectors often point out that some of the most valuable modern U.S. coins are those that were ignored when they were released. The 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with D Mintmark fits this pattern perfectly. It circulated quietly, avoided attention, and slowly built collector demand over decades. Today, it stands as proof that value is often hidden in plain sight. Now comes the detail that completely changes how most people view this coin. The highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with D Mintmark reached an astonishing $132,000, proving that this coin can be extremely valuable when condition, strike quality, and collector demand align. This is why the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar with D Mintmark deserves serious attention. It is not just another modern U.S. coin. It represents history, scarcity in top condition, and proven market performance. Whether you are searching through old collections, bankrolls, or inherited coins, this Kennedy half-dollar could hold far more value than you expect. Many Americans have overlooked it for years, but today, it stands as one of the most fascinating and valuable modern Kennedy half-dollars to understand and search for. Coin number 4. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no Mintmark is one of the most misunderstood and underestimated modern U.S. coins ever produced. At first glance, many Americans assume this coin is common, ordinary, and worth little more than face value. In reality, the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no Mintmark represents a critical moment in American coin history, and collectors today recognize it as a coin with serious value, strong demand, and long-term significance. What makes this coin especially fascinating is how quietly it entered circulation and how long it remained overlooked. By 1971, the United States had already removed silver from circulating half-dollars, a change that dramatically altered how Americans viewed these coins. Many people stopped paying attention to half-dollars entirely, believing that once silver was gone, value disappeared as well. This belief caused the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no Mintmark to be ignored, spent casually, or stored without care. That widespread neglect is exactly what helped create today's condition rarity and growing collector interest. The no Mintmark on the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar indicates that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During this era, Philadelphia did not place Mintmarks on circulating coins, leading many Americans to mistakenly assume that no Mintmark means common or unimportant. In the world of coin collecting, however, the absence of a Mintmark often tells a deeper story. For the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no Mintmark, it marks the beginning of a new copper-nickel era and a key transitional point in the Kennedy half-dollar series. Condition sensitivity is one of the biggest reasons the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no Mintmark is valuable today. Although millions were struck, very few survived in exceptional condition. These coins were often stacked in bags, stored loosely in bank vaults, or circulated heavily during their early years. As a result, contact marks, dull surfaces, and weak details are extremely common. High-quality examples with clean fields, strong luster, and sharp details are far rarer than most people realize. Strike quality plays a major role in determining value. Philadelphia Mint strikes from 1971 frequently show weakness in Kennedy's hair and facial features. Coins with full detail, crisp lettering, and balanced surfaces stand out immediately to collectors. These well-struck examples are aggressively pursued because they represent the best survivors of the year. This is why two 1971 Kennedy half-dollars with no mint mark can look similar to the untrained eye, but have dramatically different values. Eye appeal further separates ordinary coins from valuable ones. Collectors place a premium on coins that display bright luster, smooth surfaces, and minimal distractions. Even small imperfections can significantly reduce desirability. For the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark, exceptional eye appeal adds another layer of scarcity, because only a tiny percentage of surviving coins meet the standards demanded by advanced collectors. Another important reason this coin is valuable is its historical position. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar represents one of the earliest years of the fully base metal half-dollar era. Collectors view these early copper-nickel issues as foundational pieces in modern U.S. coinage. This historical importance adds depth to demand, especially among collectors who focus on transitional coins and turning points in American monetary history. The decline of half-dollars in everyday circulation also contributes to the coin's value. By the early 1970s, Americans were already using half-dollars less frequently. Many 1971 Kennedy half-dollars with no mint mark were pulled from circulation early and placed into personal holdings. Over time, these coins became scattered across estates, collections, and forgotten storage. While that may sound like abundance, it actually reduces availability because many of these coins never return to the market. Registry-style collecting has had a powerful impact on prices. Advanced collectors compete to build the finest possible Kennedy half-dollar sets, and they require coins that rank at the top. When a premium 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark becomes available, bidding competition can be intense. These collectors are not speculating. They are responding to real scarcity and long-term demand within the series. Error collectors also contribute to interest in this coin. Some 1971 Kennedy half-dollars with no mint mark exhibit striking anomalies, unusual surface characteristics, or double details. When these features appear on high-quality coins, demand increases sharply. Error coins bring together multiple collector groups, which drives competition and supports higher prices. Market trends show that Kennedy half-dollars remain one of the most actively collected modern U.S. coin series. They appeal to Americans who remember seeing them in circulation, collectors who appreciate their history, and investors who value their stability. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark benefits from this broad appeal, which helps support consistent demand across changing market conditions. Long-term scarcity at the highest levels continues to grow. Each year, more top-quality examples are absorbed into permanent collections and removed from the open market. This slow reduction in supply plays a major role in long-term value growth. Coins that were once dismissed as ordinary are now recognized as important and increasingly difficult to replace. Collectors often note that the most valuable modern coins are those that were ignored when they were new. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark fits this pattern perfectly. It entered circulation quietly, received little attention, and slowly developed a strong collector following over decades. Today, it stands as a reminder that value is often hidden in plain sight. Now comes the detail that completely changes how most people view this coin. The highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark reached an astonishing $450,000, a result that proves just how valuable this coin can be when exceptional condition, strong strike quality, and intense collector demand come together. This is why the 1971 Kennedy half dollar, with no mint mark, deserves serious attention. It is not just another modern U.S. coin. It represents history, scarcity, and proven market performance. Whether you are checking old collections, inherited coins, or stored half dollars, this Kennedy half dollar could hold far more value than you expect. Many Americans overlooked it for decades, but today it stands as one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in the modern Kennedy half dollar series. Coin number 5. The 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark is one of the most quietly overlooked coins in modern United States coinage. Yet it has grown into one of the most intriguing and valuable Kennedy half dollars for collectors who truly understand what to look for. Most Americans have seen this coin before and assumed it was common, ordinary, and worth no more than 50 cents. That assumption has caused countless examples of the 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark to be ignored, spent, or stored away without any real thought. Today, that same lack of attention is exactly what has helped create its growing value. By the late 1970s, half dollars had almost completely disappeared from everyday American commerce. Vending machines, parking meters, and cash registers were no longer designed for half dollars, and most people simply stopped using them. When the 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark was released, it entered a marketplace that no longer needed it. This resulted in limited circulation, uneven handling, and inconsistent preservation. While many coins technically survived, very few survived in the condition that collectors now demand, which is one of the strongest reasons this coin is valuable today. The no mint mark on the 1979 Kennedy half dollar confirms that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During this period, Philadelphia did not place mint marks on circulating coins, which caused generations of Americans to believe that coins without mint marks were less important. In reality, the opposite is often true. For collectors, the no mint mark version helps define the coin's origin and separates it from other mint issues. In the case of the 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark, this identification plays a key role in set building and collector classification. Condition sensitivity is one of the most critical factors driving the value of the 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark. These coins were often stacked in mint bags, dumped into rolls, or stored loosely in drawers and boxes. Contact marks, abrasions, and surface dulling are extremely common. As a result, truly clean examples with strong luster and minimal marks are far scarcer than the original mintage numbers suggest. Collectors know this, and they aggressively pursue high-quality survivors whenever they appear. Strike quality further separates average coins from valuable ones. Philadelphia Mint strikes in 1979 are known for inconsistency, especially in Kennedy's hair details and facial features. Weak strikes are common, making sharply struck examples significantly harder to find. A 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark that shows full detail, crisp lettering, and balanced design elements immediately stands out. These coins represent the very best of what survived from that year, and collectors are willing to pay strong premiums for them. Eye appeal plays an equally powerful role. Collectors consistently favor the 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark that has bright luster, smooth fields, and an overall attractive appearance. Even small differences in surface quality can create massive price differences. Coins with dull surfaces or heavy marks struggle to attract attention, while visually appealing examples often trigger bidding competition. This emphasis on appearance creates another layer of rarity, because only a small percentage of surviving coins meet high visual standards. Another reason this coin is valuable is its position within the Kennedy half dollar series. The late 1970s represent a period when the series was no longer driven by circulation demand, but had not yet become widely appreciated as a modern collectible. This transitional status gives the 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark added historical importance. Collectors often target coins from these overlooked eras because they represent moments of change in American coin usage and production. The way Americans save coins during the late 1970s also plays a role in value. Many people pulled half dollars aside thinking they might be useful later, but few stored them properly. Over time, environmental exposure, friction, and careless storage reduced the number of premium examples. While millions technically exist, the pool of truly collectible 1979 Kennedy half dollars with no mint mark is much smaller than most people realize. Registry-style collecting has significantly increased demand. Advanced collectors compete to assemble the highest-ranked Kennedy half-dollar sets, and they require coins that stand at the very top of the condition scale. When a premium 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark becomes available, bidding competition can become intense. These collectors are not guessing or speculating. They are responding to documented scarcity and long-term collector goals, which add stability and legitimacy to high prices. Another important factor is how few top-quality examples actually come to market. Many high-grade coins are locked away in long-term collections and rarely sold. Each year, more of these coins disappear into permanent holdings, further reducing supply. This slow tightening of availability supports long-term value growth and explains why prices continue to climb for standout examples of the 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark. The Kennedy half dollar series remains one of the most emotionally powerful and widely recognized coin series in the United States. It appeals to collectors who appreciate American history, presidential legacy, and modern coinage. The 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark benefits from this broad appeal, which keeps demand strong even as market trends shift. Coins with both emotional significance and documented scarcity tend to perform well over time. Collectors often point out that the most valuable modern coins are those that were ignored when they were released. The 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark fits this pattern perfectly. It entered circulation quietly, attracted little public attention, and slowly built collector interest over decades. What once seemed unimportant is now recognized as a coin with serious value potential. Now comes the fact that completely changes how most people view this coin. The highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark reached an astonishing $167,000, proving that under the right conditions, this coin can be extremely valuable and highly sought after. This is why the 1979 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark deserves careful attention today. It is not just another modern U.S. coin. It represents scarcity in top condition, strong collector demand, and proven market performance. Whether you are searching through old collections, inherited coins, or stored half dollars, this Kennedy half dollar could be hiding far more value than you expect. Many Americans overlooked it for decades, but today it stands as one of the most fascinating and valuable late-date Kennedy half dollars to understand and search for. Coins like these prove one powerful truth. The most valuable U.S. coins are often the ones people ignore every single day. Kennedy half dollars that look ordinary can carry hidden value, history, and serious money potential. And that's exactly why paying attention matters. If this surprised you, you don't want to miss what's happening with Washington State quarters, because some of those coins are quietly becoming even more valuable right now. Make sure you watch my video on Washington State quarters worth big money. And if you care about rare U.S. coins, hidden coin values, and real money secrets, subscribe to Coins Most Valuable, hit like, share this video with another coin lover, and drop a comment below telling me which coin shocked you the most.